Hi everyone and welcome to episode 30 of the Spring Snowflake podcast. My name is Sophie. You can find me on Instagram as Sophie Swan. There is also a profile for this podcast, which is a Spring Snowflake, which I haven't actually posted on in quite a while. You can also find me on Patreon, where we have a small community. If you fancied supporting the podcast, all the show notes for this podcast will be on Patreon as a freely available public post, so you can see all the things that I am talking about. If you did want to support the podcast, there are 3 tiers on Patreon. You are very welcome to join. There is also a Ko-fi link in the description box below and also on the show notes if you wanted to just buy me a nice cup of tea or a hot chocolate. I don't do coffee. I think that's everything I have to say in my intro. You are joining me in an early, very chilly November, quite sunny though, there is blue sky out there, day in South Oxfordshire, United Kingdom. It is day 1 of lockdown 2.0. England has just gone back into lockdown for 28 days. Yeah, we're supposed to come out on the 2nd of December. It's a lot less harsh than lockdown 1.0, but we are basically encouraged not to leave our house unless for education and work, if we must work outside of the home. There's also exercise. You can go and use playgrounds still. Food shopping, essentials shopping, click and collect for everything else because all the other shops are allowed to do click and collect. It's very much lockdown light, but we're trying to contain the ever-growing amount of infections happening here in England right now. It is different for my lovely friends in the other home nations of the UK, in Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland. Wales are just about to come out of their fire break, I think. And Scotland have 5 tiers, and Northern Ireland are basically all locked down, I think. I haven't actually been following Northern Ireland very closely. I'm sorry to any Northern Irish friends that are watching this podcast. For all of you guys who are not in the UK, how are we doing? 2020's been a bit of a year, hasn't it? We are currently anxiously awaiting the US presidential elections. At the moment, Biden is on 200 and... Well, depending on who you talk to, BBC are being the most conservative and they're on 243 electoral votes and he needs 270. So it's looking relatively likely for a Biden win. But it's not as much of a landslide as I think a lot of people were hoping for. What else is going on in the world? Poland's new right-wing government has decided that it's probably going to roll back the ban on abortions that it put in because all the women are protesting. And oh my God, everything stopped because women are protesting. And there's other stuff going on around the world. So, first things first, how are you all doing? Are we all hanging in there? I'm going to be honest, I haven't had the best month. October kind of flew by in a bit of a blur. There's been some anxiety, there's been some very down days, but there's also been some good things. And right now, as we head into second lockdown, I am aiming to see all the positives. Positive 1, there's a time limit. So I know on the 2nd of December, something will change. My feeling is that the restrictions won't lift as much as they did over the summer. My feeling is we'll probably go back into regional tiers again. And I think everyone's going to come out in tier 2, which is, tier 1 is wearing a mask, social distancing, washing your hands, all the things that are sensible. Tier 2 is where you've got slightly more restrictions, where you can't meet people inside. Rule of 6 applies to all the tiers, and then tier 3 is basically lockdown. So I have a feeling we're all going to come out in tier 2, and then Christmas is going to be interesting. To be honest, I'm not actually that worried about Christmas, because we'd planned to be on our own as a bubble of 3 anyway. Bubble. That word is never going to be the same again, is it? Anyway, I'm going into live update. Let's just do it all. But yeah, how are we all doing? Do let me know. Despite the fact that I am not okay. I'm always here. My inbox is always open. Come and chat to me at Instagram. It's always fun. I do apologise if you can hear my husband. He is on basically back-to-back meetings today. And there's a lot of stuff going on in his work life. So I do apologise if there's any background noise, but working from home, lockdown, yay. So today I'm going to talk to you about our 2 different longs that I am running / taking part in / helping to host. I'm going to talk about a couple of FOs, some works in progress, what I plan to make. I've got a list of November makes just to kind of focus my energies this month, predominantly because I want December and Advent to be about me. So I'm getting all my presents done in November. A little bit of life update and a little bit about, normally I do a spotlight, but I'm going to call it currently watching, because that's what I'm doing right at the end. So let's get started, because I've been talking for 5 minutes already. Yay! So much for a quick podcast. So, alongs. We are running one along that is specific to this podcast, and I'm co-hosting one as well. So the one I am running right now is a Tunisian crochet along. Hilariously, I'm not going to show you my project because I haven't worked on it. But, so the Spring Snowflake Tunisian crochet along, I'm going to put the hashtag down here. A couple of people have asked me about it. We are running it in our Mighty Networks. That's what I didn't talk about. We're running it in our Mighty Networks site. So I am no longer on Ravelry. I don't plan to be. I'm not going to dwell on it, but they are not making any steps to make themselves more accessible. So therefore, they're not getting any more of my money. So no longer on Ravelry, we're on our Mighty Networks. It's awesome over there. Come over, join us. The direct link to join is down below in the description box. And there is a chatter thread and there is a finished object thread. I think there's already one finished object, which was Stasia's, as usual. And the Tunisian crochet along is running right now, and is going to the 31st of December. Come and chatter in the chatter thread, come and post your finished objects. If it is your first ever Tunisian project, you get an extra entry, and if you are making from stash / your yarn collection, that also gives you an extra entry. So you could have up to 3 entries into prizes, and there are some fabulous prizes. So that is running up until the end of December. I am making the Diamond River Shawl, which is by Hayley Joanne Robinson. I've put like probably 4 or 5 rows on it since the last time I talked to you. I will prioritise that in December because that's making for me. So, the other along that I am co-hosting with the lovely Gemma of the Midnight Diary is the Creature Comforts Craft along, and that is still ongoing, I believe, and is being run in Gemma's Facebook group, which I will link to down below. No, not down below. I'll link it in the show notes. So, finished objects. This is the first one. So this, I'm going to take it off. Well, no, I won't take it off for now. For this is the Omni Shawl. This is a pattern that was in Inside Crochet issue, I want to say 126. If I'm wrong, I'll put it there. And it is designed by the lovely Faye, who is the Crochet Circle podcast. Now, the Omni Shawl is so named because Omni means everything, I think, in Latin. Yes, but it's called the Omni Shawl because basically this pattern can be used with any weight of yarn. So Faye is all about using what you have and promoting crochet as something that's flexible and versatile, and just generally promoting crochet as something that is an easy craft to get into that's not about granny. So all of her designs are very modern and very clean lines and awesome, basically. So Faye, if you do not know her, she is the host of the Crochet Circle podcast. She also is Faye DH Designs on Instagram, and she also owns the Provenance Craft Co, which is an amazing little shop online with all sorts of different sustainable, thoughtful things for the discerning crafter. So, the Omni Shawl, I don't know if you can see, this yarn is very busy. It is Third Volt Yarns Caroline DK in it was the World Convention, Worldcon 2019, I think, colourway called Reflection on the North Sea. It's beautiful yarn, I love it. It's such gorgeous colours. Let me give you a bit of a close-up. This is, just not the microphone, sorry. This is basically a very simple shawlette, because I only had one skein of DK, that has a very interesting way of being put together. Now, you hold, well, Faye says to hold back some yarn, but actually I crocheted this bit, the loop, first, so that I could basically use all of the yarn. Woo! And that's another good thing about quite a lot of Faye's designs, is they are designed to use all of the yarn. It is two-sided. This stitch that she uses is two-sided. It's mostly the herringbone half a treble, UK terms. And then you've got this beautiful kind of window pane. Let's see if I can do that. There you go. This beautiful window pane kind of pattern. There you go. If I have it against the blue of my wall. I love it. Really cool. So this is basically, let's put it over my shoulder and then it actually makes more sense. So you can wrap it round and then because it's a shawlette, you want to make sure it stays. You put your tail through the hole and then adjust to your heart's content. Now, I use it slightly differently to the way that is suggested, because that is my want. With a shirt, it's hard. So what I tend to do is I put the widest part down to kind of make a bandana, and then what I'm doing is wrapping the tail actually twice around, so it's a bit tighter, and then I'm using the loop to kind of secure that end and then tuck it under, so that it's a lot tighter around my neck. But it's nice and warm and cozy, and it's covering the V, because I wear a lot of V-necks or scoop necks. So, and it just shows off that beautiful. So I can still see the last row of window panes, but it shows off the beautiful yarn. Oh, it's nice. I love it. So what I will do though, actually, is I'm gonna wear it the way the design tells me to. Because then actually it'll just show you throughout the whole podcast, won't it? What this gorgeous yarn and design looks like. There. Okay. So, moving on. Second FO, which is inside out because she's worn it. Let's commercial break quickly. I finished the mini last unicorn sweater. I was so close to doing it by the time my last podcast, and it's been done, it's been worn, it's been washed, and she loves it. I'll see if I can pop a photo of her when we went down to Kent the last time. Patrons, you will have seen a vlog of us spending the weekend down in Kent, and that you can see Amelia wearing it. But yes, the mini last unicorn is done, it's blocked, it's washed, it's been worn. It's well loved. She loves it. So she has asked me for another one, and actually Megan has just released the Dino Raw pattern, which I'm not going to make it this side of Christmas, but I will make Amelia the dinosaur pattern as well. Yes, predominantly the yarn is a custom dyed gift from the lovely Gemma of the Midnight Library. Thank you so much. And then the rest of it is, the rainbow colours are a mixture of John Arbon, Knit by Numbers DK. The white is undyed from the Truly Hook Blanket Club from last year. The purple is John Arbon. There's some Vicky Brown from my advent calendars last year. So lots of different colours, but it is gorgeous and it's so soft because it's Merino DK. Most of these are superwash apart from the John Arbon, so I think I could probably put it in a gentle wool wash cycle with very low spin. I haven't tried that yet. But actually the kid doesn't sweat. So we can get a couple more uses out of this before it needs to go in the wash. So yes, it is done. It used 2 skeins of the main colour and then less than 20 grams of each of the other colours. I think less than 10 grams of the rainbow colours. The white, no, I think that was 20 grams, less than 20 grams. So yes, I'm very, very happy with this, and it is done. So yay. And the pattern is now out. There's a adult pattern, adult pattern, child pattern, hat pattern and cow pattern, and I am planning on making the hat for me at some point, probably in December. With the pink as the unicorns and probably like a dark grey. So yes, that is my finished objects. 1 crochet, 1 knitting. I also have some weaving, which is slightly not done, but I went and did a class at 2 weeks ago at a local craft school to me called the Ardington School for Arts and Crafts. And I did a 1-day weaving course. Now, because of social distancing and because of the thing, we were in a very big space, and then 2 people cancelled anyway. So there was only 3 of us on the course, plus the teacher, plus the head of the school. So there was only 5 people in the building. Really nice day, really well managed, and I learnt how to weave on a rigid heddle loom. So there were 2 projects that we did, and I've still got ends galore, and I haven't finished any of them, but I did a weft facing weave, which is quite a lot of what tapestry weavings are done using. So I learnt different effects in terms of patterns, and then also how to kind of colour block as well, which was really cool. So that is my weft facing weave, and I haven't finished the bottom of it, but I need to take pictures and send it to the thing. And then I did a balanced weave, I think is what it's called, on a slightly larger loom, and we did all sorts of, let's do it this side so you can see the bottom, all sorts of different patterns. Actually, let's show you so she'd warped it with different patterns of like just the blue and then red and blue. This is acrylic, and the red is a cotton and the blue is acrylic, 4-ply. And then we were taught kind of how to do different pickup sticks patterns, and then some, what they called, like knotting patterns, which aren't my favourite, to be honest. I don't really like them. I much prefer the pickup sticks patterns, which was very interesting. So yes, this is going to be like a little table mat, and this is going to be a mug rug for my desk. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and what was really nice, and you'll see in my whips, is that the teacher allowed the 2 students who are local to take looms home with us too, so we could continue practicing, which is really cool. So I'm going to show you my weaving project in whips, and I really want a loom. Yeah, I really want a loom. So I've asked for one for Christmas. So let's move on to whips. So the thing that I am basically obsessed with right now came through the post not less than a week ago. What day is it? Thursday? Yeah, no less than a week ago. And it is this. So Verity from Truly Hooked, Ellen from Callockshire, Eleanor, Mrs. Lamb's Yarns, and Ishrat from Fruitful Fusion. See the last podcast for why I said that. Collaborated to do an autumn box. Now, Ishrat and Verity dyed some yarn, and Ellen made a bag. So this is the bag. It's beautiful. I've got stitch markers hanging off Ellen's little wooden tag. So we've got the autumn gorgeousness of the bag. The inside is beautiful as well. Let's show you that side, because then you can't see the pin backs. Isn't it? Oh, it's just beautiful. Ellen makes beautiful bags. Obviously, I've got a couple of custom-made bags from her, one of which is going to be a prize for the Tunisian along. On the other side, so I've got a couple of stitch markers just hanging off. 2 of them are Corner of Craft. One of them's a beaver from Yarnistry, and one of them is a slice of lemon, which I think the beautiful Charlie from Love Charlie got me. She's not called Love Charlie anymore on Instagram. Damn it, I've forgotten what her profile's called. Down the Rabbit Hole? I think it's Down the Rabbit Hole. If I'm wrong, I'll put it there. Anyway, Inside, also, I've got 2 pins on here. This is the Sugar and Sloth Spoopy Bees box that I get. I get the Sugar and Sloth Tiny Party subscription box every month for Amelia and I. Amelia gets the stickers, I get the pin badge, and then we share the other stuff. And then this is my favourite pin badge so far that I've ever had. This is from It's a Stitch Up, and it says Yarn Maiden in the font of Iron Maiden. The tiny rocker in me really, really is happy with that pin. On the back, I always try and mention these, I have locking stitch markers so that I do not lose them. You can buy them in lots of different places. I am not going to mention the Bezos because I am trying desperately not to buy from him this winter season. Inside, I'm going to show you the yarn first. So what came with this kit was the bag, 2 skeins, 50 gram skeins of yarn, this hilarious little pumpkin. He is an iron-on transfer, so I need to decide where he's going, and a mini lollipop. Haven't had that yet. This is my reward for when I finish this project. And then 2 skeins of yarn which go together. They're 50 gram skeins. The copper gold autumnal leaves, it's called Autumn Wreath, is by Ishrat, A Fruitful Fusion, and then the blue is called Autumn Skies, Autumn's Eve, and that is by Verity of Truly Hooked. And there's pops of copper and purple and green in the blue, and there's pops of green and red in the copper. It's beautiful. And what I am making is a hat. Now, this hat pattern is called the Pianta Hat, which is a garter and brioche pattern by Lavagna Patricella. I have made a couple of her. She's basically the person who taught me to brioche in terms of her patterns. I've made a couple of her cowls. My DK brioche bandana cowl is one of her designs, and then also, sorry, I'm mucking about with this. It's annoying me. There we go, that's better. And then also her beginner's chunky brioche cowl, which I made for my mum last year. Anyway, so this is the Pianta Hat. It is a fingering weight hat. I did 1x1 twisted rib. She just calls for 1x1, but I decided that I love the look of twisted rib, so I did a 1x1 twisted rib, and then it is a garter. So you alternate the colours. With brioche, it's 2 rounds. So obviously the garter in between, you alternate the colours as well. So it looks really cool. So you've got garter, and then you've got this gorgeous brioche pattern. Now, this has not been without its trials. I have learnt how to fix brioche decreases and increases to drop down. I have also ripped out 8 garter ridges, so that's 16 rounds, because I made a massive hash of one of the fixes of my brioche. So I just went, I'm just going to rip it out, and I had to pick up 135 live stitches. It worked, just. So this has definitely been a trial, this hat, but it's been a massive learning curve, and I cannot put it down. Literally, I cannot put this hat down. It makes me happy. And also, the other side is just as beautiful, so this is going to be a reversible hat for me. I really like the kind of branch-like effect that the brioche has on the back. It's really cool. So yes. I have got the beginning of round marker is a corner of craft stitch marker, beaded stitch marker. This was her August stitch marker club. I have just ordered the October one, which I'm very much looking forward to. And yes, this is my when I'm not having to talk a lot project. I'm almost done with the main body of the hat, and I'm going to hopefully be on the increases by tonight. Although I've got D&D tonight. So probably not, because I need to concentrate. So, I'll talk a bit more about that in Life Update. Okay, so next whip, the other thing that I am desperately wanting to finish and have made a lot of progress on is my Advent blanket. So this is living in a me-made bag, which is all Christmassy. This is a pattern, and I cannot remember what the pattern is called. I'll put it here. But yes, I made it last year. It's huge. It's definitely a blanket bag. And this is my advent blanket. So this is 2 years worth of DK advent calendars that I got, mostly Vicky Brown, but I also had the Strawberry Fields yarn calendar last year, and the year before that was the Fibre Lounge collaboration project. So last time you saw this, where's my ladybird? There's my ladybird. I'm going to fold this so it's easier. Last time you saw this, I was on the oranges. There's my ladybird right there. And I've done oranges, reds, browns, peaches, and I'm now very much in the pinks. So yes. The stitch marker is another corner of craft. That's my little ladybird. There we go. And my stitch is being held by a hide and hammer stitch marker as well. So yes, it's a V-stitch blanket. It's my own pattern. Didn't use anyone's pattern. I basically did a foundation row until it was wide enough for me. I wanted it to hang over a single bed. In fact, this bed that I'm sitting on, and I'm basically going to go until. I'm basically going to go until it's as long as a single duvet. Basically single bed duvet. So I should actually measure it on this bed. But it's V-stitches. This is my current ball. I am not doing magic knot. I am doing the clasped weft join, which means that, I wonder if I can show you. Here. So this stitch here, this one, is a lot thicker than the other ones because it's double stranded. And normally it's one V-stitch worth of double stranded, and then that locks the yarn in, so I can just snip the ends and it'll be safe. So I use the magic knot to start with, but it doesn't feel as secure for me, unfortunately. So on my bag I have a yellow pom-pom. I also have my Claudia Crochet Clan bag, made by Crochet Luna, Claudia Crochet Luna, and then I've got my Tools of Mass Creation pin, and I cannot remember who made these. No, I can't remember. But yes, that is the advent bag. Keep knocking my microphone. Sorry. Where you got me off? Okay, we're going to change you up again. Next one, I am finishing some Christmas presents that I started last year and determined to get them done. So first things first is a Stripey Scarf that I'm making for Chris, which was going to be his Christmas present last year and it wasn't. So I switched I bought some Chow Goose shorties. Not the mini set, but the small needles. So this is being knit on 5mm needles, and these are interchangeable Chow Goose with the blue cable. I love Chow Goose, and normally I don't like small circumference knitting, but this is about the right size for my hands, and it doesn't hurt. The beginning of round marker is a cup of tea, which is from Chapel View Crafts. It's really cool. I love it. So yes, that is a very simple stripy scarf. I am doing 20 rounds for each colour, and then just snipping the yarn because it's a tube, so there'll be ends hidden. And this is in Rico Essentials Soft Merino Aran. In 2 different colours, and I don't know if they actually have colours. No, so colour 96 and colour 46. Yeah, really nice yarn to work with. I can tell it's going to pill like bejesus when it's done, but I have essentially 3 colours, 3 of each colour so that's almost a full ball or full skein, and then this one is pretty much full. I'm going to leave about half of each of them for the tassels at the end because a stripy scarf needs tassels. But yes, this is my round and round when I want to be knitting but I don't want to be thinking about it. This is living in a Stitches Tees remnants bag, which is basically one of their kind of big zippy medium bags, and all of the kind of offcuts from all of their where they're putting the letters on and things like that, they save and then they put onto these bags. I think it's really cool. No, zero waste. Always good. Okay, last project that I want to talk about in terms of knitting and crochet is my Slipstravaganza, because I joined the bandwagon. Because I've been talking about doing the Stephen West MCAL since Starflake last year, which I didn't do. I did it. And the jury's still out about my colour choices, but this is clue 1, the bonus clue, and then I'm about 2/3 of the way through clue 2. So it's finished now, so it's not like I'm going to be ruining it for anyone. So this is what my project looks like so far. Let's open up the honeycomb. So yeah, I like the colours. The bit I'm not too sure about is this striping with the purple and the coral. But it's fine. So the yarn I'm using is, my main colour is Dye Candy Super Sock, which is in the colourway Sushi. And then my three kind of contrast colours, there is, I think this is Triskelion, but I've lost the ball band. So Triskelion single ply. And then I've got Stranded Dye Works, which was one of a kind in MCN, Merino Cashmere Nylon. And then I have, where's my purple? Tiny Balls. Truly Hooked Standard Sock in the colourway Cadbury. Now, Stephen West has done something called the Mohair Dare. So I decided that I was going to do that on the last couple of rows. So the last, I don't know if you can see the difference, but the last coral row has got fluff in it, whereas this row doesn't. So I ordered some mohair. Now, the jury's still out for me in mohair, but I do quite like this one. So, where's the other mohair? There it is. So I ordered a couple of mohair mini skeins from Verity at Truly Hooked. So I have Butter and I have Cadbury. So that one I've used already. This one I need to use. And then I had some leftover alpaca Surrey alpaca silk from my Axiom shawl from It's a Stitch Up, which is called Spruce, I think, if I remember correctly. And that I'm going to hold with the green. So I think that might be the only place where I put fluff in this shawl, but we'll see how I feel about, because the border looks like it would do well with mohair as well, or with a fluff. So yes, that's about as far as I'm through the first skein of the main colour. So I think I'm about two-thirds used of the main colour. So I don't think I'll break into this a lot, actually, when it comes down to it. So yes, this project is living in a Hide and Hammer 03. The one thing I didn't tell you about was Stitch Marker. I'll do that in a minute. This was my birthday present from my father-in-law. It's a roll top bag with the lighter coloured handles. This is the stiffer leather of the two, but it is softening up as I use it, which is really nice. But a gorgeous purpley pink 03. And the stitch marker, that is basically just making me happy because I don't actually need the stitch marker right now, is another Corner of Craft beaded stitch marker in the blue panda. But yes, it is a fun project to work on. I haven't picked it up pretty much since starting that hat. So that autumn box turned up and I went, I'm making something right now. So once the hat is done, I will probably go back to that. Or, to be honest, depending on how my projects go for November, this might not be picked up again until after Advent's over. That's fine. I wasn't planning on keeping up with the MCAL, I just wanted to take part. So, last but no means least, my other whip is Giant. So, I think I'm going to pop some photos in, actually, because it's there, but I'm kind of like, it's massive. So I am weaving at the moment, and what I'm using is as I talk, I'll put some photos up, I am using a skein of 8 mini skeins that I got from Truly Hooked, called the Autumn Solids, and it's on her yak base, which is 80% merino, 10% yak, and 10% silk. No, other way around. 60% merino, 20% yak, and 20% silk, I think. Yes, and that is my warp, so I will pop some photos in of me warping the loom. And then what I am, what the weft is a 4-ply, so they're all 4-ply. Everything's in here anyway, so I might as well show you. So, yes. Autumn Solids, Yak Sock Mini, 60, 20, 20. There I was right. 80 metres per 20 grams, so there's 640 metres in the 160 gram pack, so it's going to be a really long. I didn't use all of the minis. I've warped up 3 metres, which should give me about a 2 metre long shawl wrap, hopefully. So yes, that's the details on the Yak minis. And then I have 4 skeins of Katia Baby Nature, which is a 25 grams little skein of yarn in this dark grey. This is a 4-ply. It is 100% virgin wool. 25 grams, 110 metres, so that's 440 metres for 100 grams. It's really soft, and I'm really enjoying it. So I will pop some photos of what it looks like on the loom right now. I have all these minis, these balls of them. Damn it. Those are the minis that have been wound up. So this will probably go into my blanket now, into my square a day blanket, which isn't a square a day blanket, my cozy memories blanket. But yes, so I'm hoping it will be a 2 metre long scarf by the time it's finished. But it's my first proper weaving project after the things that I did. So there's already, I can already see some imperfections. I can already see some bits where I missed one of my strands that I went over when I should have gone under, whatever. I'm just doing plain weave, but the loom I'm using is pretty vintage, and it does stick in the shafts. Shafts? Yeah, I think that's what it's called. Anyway, but yeah, it's a rigid heddle loom. I have asked for a new one for Christmas, so we'll see if one actually arrives. We'll see. So yes, that's my last whip. The other things I'm planning on making in November is gifts. So I am planning on making a hat for my husband to go along with the scarf. He, the Woolly Wormhead normally does her annual kind of hat cowl at this time each year. But because of all the things that are going on with her and also the world, she's doing a re-cowl. So all of the patterns that have been in her knit-alongs before, she put on discount, and now we're going for the month of November to make the hat. So I'm going to make the Settevelle, I think is because I'm assuming it's Italian, Settevelle hat, which I'll put a photo, out of some gorgeous Anne Kingston yarn, which is coming to me at the moment. It's called Yorkshire Warmth, and it's kind of a DK sport weight. I've got a skein which I bought at Yarndale year before, which Chris has decided he really likes, but it's only a 50 gram skein, and I don't think it'll be enough for this hat. So I'm waiting for 2 more skeins, because I think it will probably be a different dye lot. Because it was a while ago that I bought it, but I'm not sure. Can't decide. Anyway, so I'm waiting for 2 more skeins to come in the post to me, so that's that one. Amelia has also, because she's dinosaur obsessed at the moment, has also asked for a couple of prehistoric figures. So I am waiting for a book that, totally enabled by Ali of Starry as Ali and the Little Drops of Wonderful podcast. It's called Mammoths, Dinosaurs and Other Prehistoric Beasts, I think. That book, so I'm going to make her the mammoth and the stegosaurus out of that, and then I'll probably end up making all of them eventually, but she has asked for a woolly mammoth and a stegosaurus for Christmas, so I'm going to make them out of those. So that's a crochet amigurumi, so I'm waiting for that book. And then gnomes, because the latest Imagine Landscapes gnome along has just been announced, and I want to make the adventuring gnome. But then it also reminded me how much I really enjoy making gnomes. So I'm planning on making a couple big ones. So I'm going to hold Aran weight double and use like 8mm needles probably. I'm going to do a bit of swatching to see what makes the best. What's the word? Makes the best kind of fabric. So I'm going to make gnomes as well. So I'll pop a photo to show you the gnomes that I made last year, so you can kind of have an idea of what they look like. Right, that is the crafty content. So what I am currently watching and what I really think you should go and watch is my lovely friend Sarah. Sarah is the Travelling Gooseberry on YouTube. I know her through work or former work, but we are very much friends now. And one thing that she's really got into is hiking. So she has started a YouTube channel. It's very small, but I really want her to get her numbers up because she's fab and she's such a natural in front of the camera. She is documenting all of her walking and hiking adventures. So there's last been, I think 4 videos where she went and did like 18 Wainwrights in Cumbria over 4 days with different members of her family, and it was really cool to just spend time with her and go, oh my god, my feet would really hurt after doing that. So yes, the Travelling Gooseberry, I will pop a link in the show notes. Go and watch her. She's flipping awesome. And you know what? We haven't seen each other in person in so long, and it's just really nice to spend time with my friend in a weird way. So yeah, Travelling Gooseberry, go and watch Sarah. The other things, in terms of kind of life and what we've been getting up to, we had half term. I'm not going to lie, that was hard. I've been very used to having my kind of time back with Amelia going back to school, and it didn't help that I was also on kind of a mood down for quite a lot of half term. So there was a lot of mum guilt. There was a lot of like, I'm not good enough type things that are my kind of MO. I'm back seeing my therapist after a bit of a crisis, but it's fine. It's absolutely fine to feel like that, and that's one thing that I keep having to remind myself. So yeah, half term was fine. We're now back at school. Lockdown 2.0 includes children still being able to go to school, which some people have their thoughts on that. For me, I am happier with her being at school because we are nicer to each other when she's at school. Or rather, I feel like I'm nicer to her when she's at school. So I am not good as mummy, teacher, work, all that kind of stuff. I've got a new job. I went for an interview and was offered a place. So I'm going back to work for the University of Oxford on the 1st of December. Not quite sure what that'll look like because lockdown. But we will see. I'm going to be working with doctoral students, and it's going to be different because I've never worked with students who are above undergraduate level before, but there's a lot of things I've done that I can apply to this job. So I'm really happy that I'm going to be working again. It's part-time, works around school, perfect. And then I'm also, brand new thing as well, I'm now, well, tonight will be week 4, I'm now playing Dungeons and Dragons, which is totally enabled by the lovely Hannah of the Corner of Craft and Chromatic Yarns. Ever since kind of discovering her yarn and discovering what she does and talking about D&D, I've been really interested in it. And then some school friends have been playing together since pretty much through lockdown. I think, in fact, they've been playing before then as well. So, and my lovely friend Jack, when I last went down to Kent, was talking about it. We were talking about it, and I messaged him and said, right, tell me about it. And he went, well, come and join us. Which was really sweet of him, and he didn't have to offer that. And the guys all said, yeah, that's absolutely fine. So I'm now part of a D&D adventuring game, which is really cool. And I never thought I'd say that because for me, I've always been quite geeky, but I never kind of thought that would be my thing, but oh my god, I love it. So I have a character who is a half elf paladin. She is called Elenzira. She is 5'11" and has silver hair and emerald green eyes, and just generally is flipping cool because she wears armour and carries a big sword. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Our group, so there's Jack, who's our DM, and he's really what's the word I'm looking for? Creative in him kind of thinking about what he gets us to do. And then we have two barbarians. So Chris and Andy are a Goliath. Well, no, Chris is a human barbarian rogue and Andy is a Goliath barbarian. And then we have Steve, who is a tiefling sorcerer, and we have Carl, who is a dwarf cleric. And he's grumpy and it's brilliant. And it's nice spending time with my friends, with my school friends. It's nice getting back in touch with them, because that's been quite a theme of lockdown for me, was getting back in touch with old school friends. And just generally not getting out of our normal lives and going on these adventures and hitting things in the face. And we had a dragon last week, which I think is going to make an appearance again this week. And it's another thing to kind of fall down a rabbit hole, and also pretty dice. We use online dice, virtual dice for the game. But still, I bought myself a couple of sets because pretty things. And I've I've said to Jack I'm going to make him crochet him a dragon's egg dice bag for Christmas. Yeah. It's good. I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying spending that time just generally being silly. Really. And it means I can now buy a lot of Hannah's D&D yarn. Maybe. So last but not least, thank you for those who have stuck to the end. I am thinking about having another Zoom, podcast Zoom catch-up, kind of sip and stitch. So do let me know if you would be interested in joining in that. It would probably be an evening, UK time. We're back on GMT now. Probably of a weekend, maybe a Sunday night. There are quite a lot of things already going on, so do pop me a comment below or on the Patreon post, or come and chat to me on Mighty Networks. I might actually open a topic on that in Mighty Networks as well, so come and have a chat to me about it and let me know what you think. Be nice to see you if you wanted to get involved in a Zoom call with us. Very informal, just sit and chat and crochet, knit, weave, spin. Oh, I have been doing spinning, but I haven't finished that braid yet, so I'm not going to talk to you about it until it's finished and done and dusted. And I think that's it. Which means I've gone below an hour, which is always nice. So, I hope you guys are all keeping well. Do come and chat to me if you want to. It's always nice to hear from you. I am planning on Vlogmas this year, so I'm hoping that I can get another podcast in before Vlogmas, and then the month of December I will just vlog. I won't do a podcast. And then we'll be back to regular in January. So, thank you very much for stopping by and spending some time with me, and I will see you on the next one. Bye! Come closer, my darlings. Come closer. Oh, not that close. Too close. Too close. The stuff everywhere.